Good afternoon and welcome to the session on e-commerce. My name is Steve Sununu and I will be your host. With all the craziness going on in the world currently, isn't it curious that we have found a way to do a majority of our purchases right from our house? I know for myself, I am now an Amazon wizard, and at this point I see it, I want it, I click it and buy it, and in a few days, or in some cases a few hours, that widget is at my door. I have even gotten to the point that I click one button to order, no entering credit card information, address, etc., just one button and it's at my door. So that will get you thinking, how can I use this in the wood industry to get my customers to design what they want, click an order, and I can make, or in some cases, order from another wood vendor to fill that order as well? Well, some folks from Moxie are going to show you how that is all happening. Yes, in our industry, the wood industry. Now, I want to emphasize that this is an educational seminar, not a selling seminar. So please tailor your questions in that fashion. All of your microphones are muted, so please feel free to submit questions via the chat format, and I promise we will get them all answered. And now let me introduce our two special guests today, which I am proud to say are both from and have roots in the woodworking industry. Beau Lewis is the son of a cabinet making manufacturer. Beau has spent his life learning the details of running and improving business. With a degree in accounting and being ingrained with innovation, he is the co-founder and board member of Moxie. And also we have Brock Hill, who's the VP of sales for Moxie. And being fired by Beau, we joked about this yesterday, but being fired by Beau from operating the CNC at Lewis stores was a pivotal point in Brock's life. Beau felt that there was more in store for Brock and that than just cutting sheet goods. This led to the greatest discovery of his career, his passion and skill for informative selling. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the screen over to Beau and we will get this party started. Again, if you have any questions, please use the chat session format to leave them there, and I promise you we'll get to all of them. Thank you so much, and without any delay, here's Beau.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate the introduction. And although in a different format and I can't see you all, it's great to meet you digitally, and hopefully, soon we can meet face to face on a screen share. But yeah, it's great to be here. I am one of the co-founders. Together with my family, we started Moxie. Moxie was actually born. I think the best way to introduce myself is to just kind of tell our story. I remember my dad, who was working at Nucor Steel when I was 5 years old, taking our family and bringing us all together around the table. And he had decided that he was going to start a cabinet door manufacturing plant. And so he quit Nucor Steel, and he put us all around the table when I was 5, and he filled a bowl up with sawdust and poured some milk over the top and mixed in some food coloring, and he said, guys, this is what we're gonna have to eat. We're gonna be on a tight budget for a while. And I cried and my other brothers cried, and anyway, it was fun. It was all, it was all just an experience. And he joked, he obviously told us that wasn't true, but hanging in our Moxie office, we have the door from the building in the chicken coop where he started that door shop. We went a couple years ago and tore that out because you can see some of the saw kickbacks or remakes where he threw through the door, and there's even phone numbers on this door. And that door represents a lot to us. I remember watching growing up, my dad would often throw up. I'd see him throw up from the stress of running a business. And, I think most of you can relate to some of the stresses that come with a business, whether it's in the earlier stages or in the later stages. But that door represents a lot to us about just the hard work that it means to start a business. We, about 7 years ago, seeing the trends that were coming along, as all of us, and Steve kind of introduced the concept as in his introduction, that Amazon accounted for over 49% of all U.S. commerce sales in 2019. And so seeing that pathway and being a millennial myself and wanting to be able to order and run our business from the web and from my cell phone, my older brother introduced the concept that, you know what, hey, let's build a system. And we didn't like that idea, so we went to to Oracle, SAP, some of the bigger ERP platforms, and asked them to give us quotes. And $2 million quotes later, we realized, and the fact that they were showing us signs that they didn't understand the woodworking industry. We realized that if we wanted to go to the web with a configurator, let alone a 3D designer that would feed that online configurator, because of the complexities, it was going to have to be born from within our industry. So that is exactly what we did. And if we look at the statistics for online sales as a whole, in 2018, $517 billion went through the web in online sales, and in 2021, it's estimated $4.8 trillion will go through online sales. So if we look at that on a graph, it's almost crazy to see the side-by-side comparison. That's exactly what happened to our business in, well, again, Lewis Cabinet Specialties doors, where we were selling 5-piece hardwood doors and flat pack cabinet box components. And yes, Brock was one of our CNC operators, and an incredible one at that. But what we saw was 40% annual growth every year for 5 years after we flipped on our own online store. After getting back so many $2 million quotes that showed signs of not being able to do what we wanted to, we decided to break the company apart and write code, knowing that we were going to go share it with the rest of the industry when we got done. So that's what we did, and launched the online store so that clients could log in anywhere from their cell phone, and that we could run our business completely from our cell phones. And that's where All Moxie was born. And our company exploded. We saw 40% growth every year for 5 years. And using the back-end ERP functions, which we'll go into, not only did we solve some of our issues that we were having with being able to just receive the sales, collections, and all the other processes that have to take place in the office, we decided to just keep firing ourselves and create a system that would allow us to do what the numbers say here. Average days of collection went from 58 to 19 days, because clients could just pay online and their invoices were always available. And then we also went from, we were doing about 12 million annual sales with only 1.5 office staff. And it was really quite the experience to watch that happen. And as I think back to my dad, going from him throwing up because of the stress of the job and what it took to run that business, to doing that kind of sales with 1.5 office staff, and giving Dad his life back, if you will. And not only that, he, creating a business that we were able to exit from. And we actually exited the business in October of 2018. We sold the entity to a private equity firm. And a lot of that we attribute to the fact that we had defined created a sales machine, along with creating a system that self-operated. And that's what a lot of companies were interested in. When the first question they asked was about systems and people. And so that's a lot about myself. One of the things that makes online sales difficult in our industry is that the front, the box, the drawer box, the range hood, the corbel, all these different parts have to come together inside of one in real time. And the reality is a lot of cabinet makers or millwork shops, sometimes we're outsourcing the front, and so there's a lag between the time the customer gets the price and and being able to give all of that to them in real time. If the people that we're outsourcing to aren't connected into us, it makes it very difficult to do that in real time. And so with that, we did build a 3D designer that can go out and, when connected to other All Moxie instances, be able to bring back in immediate the door, the box, the drawer, even if they're all being purchased from different locations. So stores can connect to each other. And it's interesting because we live in a day where there are so many apps, and apps keep popping up, and they do really well at what they do, but the data is all fragmented. And all Moxie has the capacity to talk to those apps in the cloud in real time and bring all of that data full circle and give the customer a real-time self-serve online portal. And Brock will be going into the details of the software, but we're really excited to be in this industry, and to Steve's point, to be able to have the capacity to connect apps and use a lot of the new technology that's available in our industry. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Brock to talk about some of the more of the details of All Moxie, the product.
Awesome. Thanks, Beau. Would you pass over the screen to me?
I will.
Beautiful. Yeah, everything that's been shared is true, and I'm not spiteful over the being fired or asked to leave. As was mentioned, it's one of the biggest and greatest blessings of my life. So pretty excited about that. What I want to do is just keep it really 30,000 foot view here and show you inside of the software, and just a really brief overview of what it does, what it can do, and yeah, just keep it really general. Anything past what I'm going to show, please reach out to your RSA rep, and he'd be more than happy to answer any questions via get you on the schedule, so we can jump on a call or a webinar. So I'm going to first start out here on just the All Moxie website, just so anyone as well can go in and look into what exactly is going on. So this is allmoxie.com, and inside of All Moxie, we have 4 very simple pre-built templates: the dealer template, the cabinet shop template, component manufacturer, and a supplier template. And in All Moxie, we have people that are crushing the space within each one of these templates. Many of you might even be aware of some of these companies, or you might even be ordering from a lot of these companies, especially even suppliers. And so I'm just going to go into a really basic template. And so if you were to do that, you just come here and scroll to the very bottom, and then you just click on play with the demo at the bottom there. So once you've logged in, just using this demo username and password, it's going to shoot you right into this main page. All Moxie is a beautiful software in which it does so many wonderful things for the business, but the main things is it automates your current processes, and it also takes your catalog and allows it to be external to your end user. And so that's the e-commerce part of it. The first part of it, right, is triggers. And a trigger it's there events to take place without you having to do it. This is the basic part of All Moxie, where you fire yourself. This is the automations. And inside of All Moxie, for example, one of the triggers would be when one of your end users is to come in and order something from your catalog. basically they have this catalog. Whatever you want to be in there will be in there. And as they create this order and they create the order here, it'll now populate a price in real time. Well, once they've saved that order, and that order then sits inside of your Moxie site and system here, where now you have all these orders that you can now go in and verify to make sure everything's there and they've ordered it properly. If I was to go in one of these orders, it's going to break down. That's not the one I was looking for. It's going to break down each one of these individually. And so now you've got all the resource allocations here for that order. You've got all the parts lists for the cabinet parts, the fronts, the finishes, the drawers, the rollouts. So it automatically is providing you with all the information based on that order in real time. And so you'd be able to pull up all of those parts lists for that order, for that individual. You'd also be able to automatically.
Can I add one thing real quick? If you'll notice on the left-hand side also is available files for the saws and other machinery out in the factory, or for the optimization software, whether that's CutRight or Cabinet Vision or whatever it might be, so that data entry is anything that needs to take place in the office is automatically sitting on the order, ready to go. And that's how you do grow and scale a business without adding additional office staff, is by letting the system do it for you in real time. After the customer has input the order, they hit submit, let everything be done already. So
perfect. Thank you, Beau. And then so then it would also be able to produce that invoice for you in that customer. So it's very automated. This is the part of all Moxie that eventually gets you out of the business, makes it very easy to transfer yourself out of it and allow you to watch your baby continue to grow and produce the fruits of your labors. But from this point, right, it's going to then send this order directly, as Beau was talking about, into an export into your CutRight or whatever optimization that you guys have or use. And it's very, very seamless, streamlined. From there, it'll go into, of course, it'll go into packing, shipping, be sent out. Confirmations will be sent as well. So all automated. As I talk to a lot of different types of customers, right? Because we deal with a gamut of customers. The biggest benefit that they often come back and we talk about after they've had success, after building their catalog, is the amount of time they're able to save. A lot of the dealers or contractors are spending hours putting together these or waiting to get back these bids, as many of you know. And so on average, I'm hearing this time roll around between 6 and 8 hours for the job to get back, to be bidded, to be perfect for the end user. And at the end of the day, all Moxie is taking that and crunching it into a fourth or less of the amount of time. So now you get back your life as a business owner or whoever you have running that flow. So triggers is basically the automation part of the system that's going to run the business without you having to, and make it very, very smooth. The other portion, right, that flows right into it is the e-commerce platform. So allowing your customers to be able to order directly from your catalog exactly what they want. So there's really 2.5 parts to the e-commerce portion in all Moxie. There's the first part here that you're looking at. It's the 2D portion of all Moxie. So where there's images, they're clean, they're very precise. And so I'll just click here in a standard wall cabinet with 2 shelves. And now your customer, end user, can come in here directly, depending on what he wants, and put in customizations to get the price, and of course be able to adjust the construction method, the door type, the finish, the box material, and even the drawer and rollout type. So at that point, let's say that our customer comes through and he makes sure all of his customizations are in there the way he wants them to. He can then save changes. His information will all be put in here, kind of like when we go to Amazon and go to checkout with our account. All of your customers will have their individual accounts, where it'll auto-populate the most important information, so they can save changes. You can then you can go in and approve that order, and then they can either pay or put it on their credit. And that's when it all begins, and they're getting notified throughout the process. Anything you'd like to
Brock,
add?
if I could add one thing, yeah. So also make note that the configuration of your products can vary from each one of you may handle your catalog differently. You may be more custom and therefore want to add left reveal, right reveal, top drawer height, things of that nature. There are a lot of these drop downs and product attributes that are actually hiding in the background, and you get to decide whether or not you do want to turn them on and allow the customer to edit that, or whether it's a standard and you want to hide it. So you do have the options to make this complex, or the width attribute could also be, because you are a SKU-based company, a drop-down that contains your SKU list. So there are multiple ways to attack the catalogs, and this is a kit catalog. If you're selling just the box, just the door, it may be that you're selling moldings. Again, there are a lot of templates that have been pre-built that you would modify for your drop downs, but the product configuration piece is very robust, and whatever your catalog looks like can be accomplished. So I do think that's important, Brock, to include that this is just one sample, if you will.
Agree. Because at the end of the day, we see such a gamut of industry leaders that come into all Moxie that have all different types of offerings, obviously. And so, yeah, we've got the IKEAs, we've got the millwork, we've got a lot of different people in here that need different levels. So perfect.
And I'll also add with that regardless of your pricing formulas, the bidding tool in the background of being able to write custom formulas that are dynamic, even if it's just a SKU-based product and it's one price for a certain width based off the door type, all the way to I want to do a square foot for this type of door and a fixed cost for that drawer box. The pricing formula builder in the background is very robust. And I have yet to have somebody bring me an Excel sheet where we can't replicate the pricing formula to happen in real time.
Beautiful. Now, coming from the 2D side of the e-commerce platform inside all Moxie is something that's been super disruptive over the last few months, especially, is the 3D side. And we at all Moxie, we don't want to knock any companies, but we've definitely earned the business of other customers that have had other designing software platforms. Some to mention might be 2020, right? And so inside all Moxie, you have this cube here. And so that cube is going to launch us into the 3D designer with your products. Depending on not everybody has a 3D designer. A lot of businesses don't need a 3D designer, right? But it's a blank slate where we can come into the 3D designer, change the width, height, depth of the room if we want crown molding or we don't. If it has baseboards, backsplash, you name it. So you can change a ton, even as far as putting in ranges, refrigerators, microwaves. So the end user, typically being a homeowner a lot of times, is what we've used it for a lot so far. it's being able to see a beautiful end product that they can agree to and is very real time. So I went ahead and I basically just pulled together a kitchen here. It takes, I'm not a designer by any means, but it takes a few minutes to build a kitchen. So right here, if you had one of your designers or even one of your end users just coming in here and clicking and dragging a shelf, it's going to be slow on me, right? This is exactly the functionality of, it's going to be slow on me, is very, very seamless and very smooth. And for this all to be in your designer is ideal. If I was to turn this on, let's go ahead and turn it on. Now we take it into real time to where now you can see and share and build your end user's kitchen. Where now all of these parts inside of this 3D designer are completely being mapped to excluding like that we don't currently have any companies that are selling refrigerators or ranges right now inside of all Moxie, but it's definitely, it's doable. But the cabinetry component to it and the countertop component, that'll then shoot it directly into the 2D side of all Moxie. And you can see we can see inside the cabinets exactly what we're getting into.
And Brock, I'll add that if this same design was opened up on an iPad and you were standing there, it has somewhat of a virtual reality component to it, where, as you go up and down, you can see, and it's as though they're standing in the room. So it gives you a really powerful tool to demonstrate exactly what that kitchen is going to look like to the customer in real time. And they can do so from home on their own if you allow them to.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you.
And guys, I just want to jump in really quick. I'm probably slowing it down because I'm currently on Amazon buying stuff right now. So apologize.
Oh.
That's okay. That's okay.
Thanks for saying something though.
But yeah, so you've got your end product here. At the end of the day, what I've seen as 3D Designer being a very powerful tool is you now have got this share button to where you can now directly send this project that maybe one of your dealers, designers can now send from your catalog over to their customer, their end user homeowner, what they've designed. And from this link, this homeowner can now make any edits or changes or see exactly what the finished product is without going through and completely destroying the kitchen. Because at the end of the day, everyone knows us as just layman homeowners, we don't totally get how to build kitchens or whatever it might be. So going from here, if I was to approve this kitchen, I like the way it looks as an end user, I can come here to the next button, and it should, yep. And it's basically going to go screen to machine. It's going to populate everything that I just built in that 3D designer with my pricing, with your pricing as a company, with your formulas, and you have your price. And from that point, we can save changes and we can pay for this kitchen directly through all Moxie. And from that point, as I verify the order as a business owner, all of this will then transfer directly into whatever optimization and then take it through the trigger system in all Moxie. So it's very, very disruptive.
Brock, I'd like to add too that, so as we give power to the end user to design and sell, these kitchens with immediate pricing. And when this order came in and is now saved and the ORD or the optimization file is already on the job, and they've been able to make those customization options and selectors based off how much you opened up to them, you're really defining that you can't get bad orders in. And that standardization and setting the rules beforehand gives you now the capacity to grow your sales without having to add additional office staff. We have some clients who clients put in, and they are able to receive, send to the shop, nest, and track well over 500 to 700 cabinets a day with one office staff. It's a pretty incredible result, and also gives that homeowner or dealer or whoever that end user is the ability to self-serve, which is what they're asking for, according to trends. So very, very powerful tool.
Beautiful. That's basically as general as I'd like to stay in this session, because everyone has different needs, niches, and desires within an e-commerce platform or automation trigger system. So I think that's as far as I'd like to go, Steve. If you'd like to add anything, or if you want to open up for questions.
We can certainly do that. Thank you so much to both of you. Yeah, I do have some questions here. And well, the first question, I think this is coming from somebody that came on later than the start time, because the first question is, how does the pricing structure work and what are my costs? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the seminar, this is not a selling seminar. This is an educational seminar. So if you could maybe, Brock or Beau, either one of you, just basically talk about the fact that this is a software as a service, and it's a monthly fee and that sort of thing. So maybe we can talk about that without getting into specifics.
Beau, you can take that one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just hit on that quickly. And at the end of the day, we sat back and said, what would we have wanted in a pricing model when we wanted to buy something like All Moxie, if somebody else would have been selling us the service. So what we decided to do, it is a monthly fee, no contract, and that monthly fee is based off of the value that's been added. So the amount of orders that have been verified, meaning they've been received and you verified them, that volume puts you into a tier that looks back the last 30 days and charges the card each month. And that can be found on allmoxie.com on the pricing tab. So that's as simple as it is. Unlimited users, no contracts, just month to month. If it's working and adding value, the risk is on us.
Terrific. All right. The next question is, how long does it take to set up? And then there's a follow-up question. So go ahead and give me that one first.
Yeah. So it really depends on what your offering is. We have customers that are totally prepared and totally know what their catalog and their offering is going to be as an e-commerce platform, or even automating their systems. And we have companies that aren't totally aware of what their catalog even looks like. And so that's a part of my job as well, is helping an individual know, what does that timeline look like to going live. But we have companies and customers successfully building a catalog and seeing fruits from it within, it could be as little as 3 weeks, 3 months. It just really just depends on how motivated they are as an individual to incorporate and innovate. And number two, if they have an understanding of what their catalog looks like and who they want to take that product offering to.
Yeah, Steve, I usually like to ask the question back, how organized is your data?
Yeah, so that's interesting. That's actually the follow-up question for me was, the next one is, what is the process? And for me, I'm just curious, what is your percent? At the end of the day, how many customers end up having you guys do it for them, and how many of them are organized enough to actually have their catalog already set to go? Just a rough idea.
Brock, I would probably say about 50% choose to do it on their own. And part of that is also that they have staff in-house that is capable of, Brock, if you can click on that setup guide, looking at this training, there's a university that comes right in that has videos that walks you through the setup. And those people that have staff that can watch these videos and self-setup tend to go faster and have sometimes we don't even get involved unless there's a customer service, just general question that isn't already answered by a video that we have in our massive training forum. So that's usually, and then the other half, to say, you know what, I really don't have the person in house to take this project on. I'd rather hire it out. And we have service pros at an hourly rate that are available to help those people that just want to outsource the project. But at the end of the day, one goal that we do have that is a requirement is that over time, when the project gets wrapped up, that you're self-sufficient. We don't want you reliant on all Moxie for the long-term management of your catalog. And changes, we want you to just self-serve as much as possible. All the while, we have great service pros that can speed the project up, give the training necessary, and help that process along. And they do really well at what they do.
Excellent. So it sounds like most of the questions that most customers would have already been addressed and are readily available on the website as far as the process and tutorials and training guides and whatnot. So that's fantastic. Next question is, when I order supplies through Moxie, okay, does that count against my monthly costs?
Yeah. No, the answer is very simple. No. We're only looking at the last 30 days of approved build outs inside your All Moxie catalog.
Yeah, orders that have been received and verified, your invoice with them. And that's the number that's used to figure out what tier you fall into for the monthly fee. Purchases, that would fall into the person that you're purchasing from. If they have an All Moxie instance that's connected and that's how it's doing it, that would fall inside their tier. But to make purchases with another company out of All Moxie, no, that does not count.
All right, sounds good. The next question is, gosh, I really hope this customer's from Texas. What are the next steps moving forward? How do I get started?
That's a great one.
Welcome to the Moxie family.
Heard that before. Next steps, I would say first and foremost, reach out to our RSA right after this or as soon as possible, and they'll get you on a call with me, and we can just start to make sure that we're a great fit for each other. Following that, I'll get you in, and your account's been approved. I'll get you in touch with your account rep, who is a concierge we have inside of All Moxie, that will walk you through the entire process if you are a customer who wants to self-serve completely. And if you're not and you want some help, meanwhile also doing some building on your own inside the site, we'll put you in connection with our account or our service pros that will also help you build out your All Moxie platform.
And I would add to that, Steve, also just quickly, that those demos on allmoxie.com, those four categories of clients, be sure when you do sign up that you check the right box, and it will put a demo, or it will put a template catalog in there, where with hundreds of catalogs that we've built over the years, we've built these templates out to help you get 80% of the way down the road. We've done a lot of the back end formulas and thinking so that you don't have to start from scratch. So just choose the right box when you do sign up.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a differentiation here between, if you're a cabinet shop or obviously components manufacturer, things of that nature. So yeah, that's good advice. Now, Beau, how long ago did Moxie start? And, I know you talked about your dad throwing up and this and that, but, what was, you touched on it a little bit, but, how many years and I mean, how do you go to this crazy concept of thinking really, really outside of the box on something like Moxie?
Fortunately, I have an older brother who's a devil's advocate, and he's always questioning the norm. And that's definitely a strength in this case. It's been wonderful to have him on the team, and it was about 9 years ago that he started to say, "Look, I'm sick of doing this, so I'm gonna fire myself tomorrow and hire a programmer to do this." And in 2008, I actually no 2009, sorry, when the economy dipped, I actually fired myself from the company and went back to school, so that the company could stay healthy. And it was then that my roommate, who was a coder, started to get involved. So that was when it actually was born. Um, but as a primary focus, and probably for 5 years, we have very, very strategically gone to the market. If I'm being honest, with the 3D designer, we kind of have strategically, from a marketing standpoint, tried to hang under the radar as much as possible, while finding the clients that did fit. And now we are definitely full bore, full steam ahead with as I indicated, hundreds of catalogs under our belt, so that we could learn the lessons that we needed to be prepared. So yeah, so 2009, really, I guess you could say, is when it started.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Well, I don't have any more questions. If anybody has any last minute ones, feel free to throw them onto either the chat or the questions section off to the side there.
Steve, can I add one last
Sure,
thing? And I think this is just, since we have the 5 minutes here, I wanna use them, just to kind of share. At the end of the day, at all Moxie, our culture, that door that's hanging in our office is significant to us. We're not just in the business of selling software. We're truly in the business of both value add, but changing people's lives. We're really passionate about people, and so I think when you get to know us, I hope that that's the tone that you feel. But like, from the owners to you as business owners, that really is our passion. I mean, money's great, and we do appreciate the certificates of appreciation, if you will, but we really are in the people business. And I know that sounds extremely cliche, but it's what drives us during the day. That's what wakes us up as a company, and we hire accordingly. So, I just think it's important that you understand a little bit about the company culture, And so we're excited to meet the people inside the business, not just the business itself.
I agree.
well said and heartfelt. I really appreciate that. Does anybody else, any questions or anything? If there are no other questions, I'm going to remind you that in about less than 20 minutes, in about 15 minutes or so, we will be starting a presentation on ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Planning, at 2:10 Central Time. And that is software that can tie together your day-to-day business activities, such as your accounting, if you have QuickBooks or whatever, procurement, project and shop management, to name a few.
Hey, Steve, if I might be able to interject something.
Sure.
I just want to really thank Brock and Beau for their participation, but also for their partnership. And I really, I've done business with a lot of software and technology suppliers over my career, and they are absolute top shelf. And it's a real honor and a privilege to be doing business with them. And what Beau said has proven to be the absolute reality. They are in it to help the industry. The industry does need help. I mean, we're all looking at a whole new world, and they're not only at the right place at the right time, but they have the right tools, and they communicate best with their clients on how how to be successful. So thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate the partnership.
Thank you, Roger.
Likewise.
Well, on that note, we will wrap this whole thing up. And as I was mentioning, at 2:10 today, we will have our ERP seminar hosted by Terry Gregory. So everybody have a safe, very safe and wonderful day. And we very much appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.